What's up everyone, my name is Josh and this is Josh Unboxed and welcome back to another video. And today I kind of want to continue on with the discussion of finding value in collecting and investing. Now, a couple of videos ago I talked about, finding value between BGS 9.5s versus, PSA 10s and PSA 9s. I also talked about buying the best grade that is affordable to you. And a couple of months ago, I talked about finding value in lower graded cards. The current state of the market that we're in right now, those concepts are as important as ever right now, I feel, in my own personal opinion. As a collector and as an investor, maybe not so much as a big time investor, but for a lot of us who are working with a budget, as budget investors, if you will. The reason why I think it's so important at this moment in time is because the state of the market, the state of the hobby, in terms of the grading side of things is, I would want to say, in a state of disarray. I mean, everyone is trying to figure out where they're going to go to now that PSA has shut down, right? Or PSA has stopped a lot of their lower level services. So we got a contingent of people saying, I'm going to submit my cards to CSG. I'm going to use HGA. I'm going to use SGC. I'm going to use BGS, trying to find that company, that grading company that will step up and take on the mantle of number 2 behind PSA, get their piece of the pie. Because now that PSA has shut down, there's more, pie to go around, if you will. A lot more people are trying to find their footing, trying to find that grading company that can yield the highest returns, right? That can give the highest value depending on how much it costs to get a card graded, depending on how quickly their submission turnaround times are, and how much their cards sell on the secondary hand market. In a sense, there's a lot of opportunity, and where I feel there's a lot of opportunity is within lower graded cards. Everyone is always trying to hit for the home run. I think a lot of people have that mindset, especially for a lot of new people entering the hobby, or people who have entered a year ago coming from the flipper investor side of things, are always looking for that home run, that card, that grade that can net them the highest amount of profit. And what ends up happening is that if their graded cards don't reach that high grade, then they're willing to sell these cards. As hard as a lot of these lower graded cards are to move, a lot of people are more than willing to negotiate to be able to turn and move that card and turn and move on from that card to be able to continue to the process of buying and flipping. That's why I feel that there's a lot of opportunity, like I said, for us collectors and small time and budget investors to be able to capitalize on these lower graded cards, especially when it comes to like 90s inserts, numbered parallels, rare cards for that matter, even though they do sell at a premium. But you can see there will be a huge price difference between a PSA 9 and a PSA 8. There's a price difference between PSA 9 and SGC 9.5, SGC 9, BGS 9, BGS 9.5. There's a lot of price differences when you compare it to the PSA counterpart that I feel often gets overlooked. A lot of people prefer certain slabs. They prefer certain grading companies. There's people who are big advocates for SGC. There are people who are big advocates for PSA, BGS, so on and so forth. And in this time, everyone is trying out other grading companies. A lot of people are trying out other grading companies. And if the grades don't come out to their liking, they're going to try to move those cards. And if the demand isn't there for those types of grading companies, then those cards can be had at a lower price. So I feel there's plenty of value. I've been looking at a lot of different grading company slabs that are already being graded, buying SGC cards, buying BGS 8.5s, looking at CSG graded cards in an 8.5, because I feel those cards have a lot of value. People are selling them at a cost that it costs to get graded by PSA. Who's one to say that one grading company is better than the other? I mean, they have their own professional graders that actually grade the card. I mean, you can talk about quality and whatever, but I think what it comes down to a lot, especially now with a lot of these secondary grading companies, although I don't feel like they're secondary grading companies, I think they're all respectable grading companies. If you talk about SGC, BGS, CSG, and HDA, I feel like they're all respectable grading companies, that there is value to be had in those cards. In lower grades, I think what it really comes down to is brand recognition. People are willing to pay more for a PSA than an SGC, than a BGS slab. People are willing to possibly pay more for a BGS slab versus an SGC slab. People are willing to pay more for an SGC slab versus a CSG slab. You know, there's a trickle down effect here in terms of the price points for these grading companies. And I feel that, and this is just my opinion, I feel that whether it's SGC, whether it's CSG, HGA, BGS, PSA, they're all professionally graded. And I feel like all these companies are respectable grading companies. Like I said in my other video, grading is very, very subjective. So, you know, one grader can see a card differently versus another one within the same grading company as well. To say that SGC 9 provides less value versus a PSA 9 is all, what it really comes down to is just brand recognition, brand name stuff. You know, everyone wants what the PSA, and I'm one of those people that prefers PSA over all the other grades, but it doesn't mean that I don't think there's any value to be had in these other grading companies. So that's been my focus lately. You know, as this market has shifted, and as I'm looking at the market and how a lot of cards have kind of hit a flat line, or some cards have kind of dipped, especially when it comes to a lot of the vintage cards, I find this as an opportunity to start buying some of these cards and in other grading companies, not just PSA. And the ones that I'm particularly focusing on are like your parallel cards, your insert cards, your rarer cards that are graded by these other companies, because, you know, a rare card is a rare card. It doesn't matter if it's raw, if it's graded. Rarity is rarity. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. And, you know, these are, like I said, these are just my thoughts and opinions. If you agree or disagree, sound off below. If you enjoyed this video, or if you found some value in this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. And with that being said, my name is Josh, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.